Alright, my friends, welcome to the Ken Yukihiro Fan Club. I'm a charter captain, and we got a fun one for you today. And last Mythic Championship, Ken Yukihiro brought that awesome Rotting Regisaur Embercleave deck that I predicted he would top 8 the Pro Tour with, and he did, or Mythic Championship, sorry. Put penny in my jar. And this Mythic Championship, he's going to keep the spiciness right on going here, and he's cooked up quite the deck. Again, this is Ken Yukihiro's deck for Mythic Championship 7. This, of course, happened yesterday, as you're watching this on Monday, but I'm recording it on Thursday night, so I don't know what happened yet. Maybe he won, maybe he didn't win, maybe who knows. But he's got quite the brew here, and it looks super cool. Wanted to give it a spin, and there's a lot of things happening here. So we have a 5-color Niv-Mizzet Reborn deck. Niv-Mizzet Reborn is a Wooburg, so that's white, blue, black, red, green. 6/6 flying legendary dragon. And when it enters the battlefield, you reveal your top 10 cards. And basically you can keep any card that is a pair for one of each pair. So you get to keep one Azorius card, one Simic card, one Golgari card, one Gruul card, and etc. You only get one of each pair, and they must be exactly the chosen colors. So, for example, there are no 3-color cards in this deck, but if you were to hit a Siege Rhino off of Niv-Mizzet Reborn, it would not work. It has to be exactly 2 colors. So, Niv-Mizzet Reborn's a house. A 6/6 flyer for 5 that comes into play and draws you 2 or 3 spells is phenomenal. And what I really like about Ken Yukihiro's deck is that he's not trying to be this cutesy Niv-Mizzet deck, playing cards across all the color pairs to try and get as many cards as possible with Niv-Mizzet. If you play Niv-Mizzet and you draw an Escape the Wilds, a Hydroid Krasis, and a Casualties of War, you should be pretty damn happy because you played a 6/6 flyer for 5 that drew you 3 spells, and that's awesome. And that way we're not drawing random Desparks or whatever hokey, color paired card that we have that we can't really cast very well. We're just drawing gas. So super simple, super straightforward. I kind of love this deck, honestly. So you have Niv-Mizzet Reborn, of course. And otherwise, we're a Fires of Invention deck. Now, this is going to be one of the most popular cards of the Pro Tour. Jeskai Fires, I believe, is the most played deck at the Mythic Championship. Not Pro Tour. Put a penny in the jar. And Fires is a very powerful card. 4-mana enchantment. You can only cast 2 spells a turn, but all your spells are free as long as their converted mana cost is equal to or less than the number of lands you have. So as long as we have 6 lands in play, every card we cast is free. But we can only cast 2 a turn. But, casting Niv-Mizzet Reborn and Casualties of War in one turn is pretty good. It's pretty good. So Fires not only allows us to play our spells for free, it also totally circumvents mana costs. So theoretically, with the Fires in play, we could have a mountain and 4 forests, and we can still cast Niv-Mizzet Reborn because it does not care about the colors, it cares about the converted mana cost total. So Fires ends up being sort of a mana engine as well as a mana fixer of his deck, which is kind of awesome, honestly. We're not making amazingly good use of our lands without Fires. Our only real mana sink is Kenrith, the Return King, although I guess Hydroid Krasis also falls under that a little bit. Realistically, it's a mana fixer and a power producer. So we have Fires. We're essentially a base Simic deck, blue and green. All of our early mana accelerators are blue and green, and Gilded Goose, Paradise Druid, and Growth Spiral. And then we have a little bit of white for Teferi, Time Raveler, of course, one of the most powerful cards in the format, and Kenrith, and then a little bit of red for, of course, Fires of Invention. And a really cool card, Escape the Wilds, a 5-mana sorcery. Exile your top 5, light up a stage, basically. You can play them until your next turn, and you play an extra land, too, which is pretty nice. So that's that. And then we top off with 4 copies of Casualties of War, one of the more popular cards at the Mythic Championship. There's a lot of enchantments and artifacts being played right now. A lot of Fires decks, a lot of Cat Oven decks, Witch's Oven, and a lot of Planeswalkers as well. And this card is pretty often a 3-for-1 or a 4-for-1 or once in a blue moon, a 5-for-1, and this card is very powerful. Even if you're just killing their land, their creature, and their planeswalker, that's awesome. And this is the kind of card that buries people in mid-range matchups. Very, very powerful. Very awesome to cast off Fires of Invention. It's castable otherwise. It's black is certainly the splash color. There's only a few black lands in a swamp. But we have Paradise Druid, we have Gilded Goose, so it is certainly castable without fires, but obviously very good with fires. And that's our Haymaker. Kenrith also, this card's really good. I'm a little surprised it's the only one. The second one's on the board. Kenrith is awesome, and Kenrith is very, very good with Fires of Invention. The one thing I don't like about this deck is that we're not doing a great job spending our actual mana once we're casting spells for free with Fires of Invention, and Kenrith is really good at that. Giving other creatures haste is huge, trample is huge, gaining life is huge, drawing cards is huge. We can reanimate our Niv-Mizzet Reborn, that's also huge. It's a very powerful card, great mana sink. And then, as a 5/5 for 5, or a 5/5 haster for 6, pretty reasonable otherwise. But that's the deck. One of each basic, some scry lands, some dual lands, 4 Fabled Passage, pulling extra duty here as our 5-color mana fixer, and 4 Temple of Mystery because we are essentially a base Simic deck and we got to cast our accelerators. Sideboard's pretty simple. 4 Despark, which I mean is for things that cost 4 or greater. 4 Deputy of Detention. Not sure about this one honestly. Deputy is an interesting card. Most small ball creature removal is not going to be great against us, so it'll often live. But I'm not really sure. That one's 4, honestly. 4 Ceratops, obviously to punish the Teferi decks and other control decks. A few players register blue-white control and other things. Second Kenrith, this card's just good. Good in grindy matchups. It's good against aggro decks too, getting 5 lives is very serious. And then 2 Tolsimir, Friend of Wolves, a card that's really good against aggressive decks. That's the deck. It's pretty wild, honestly. And not only is it fun to play, but it actually looks pretty good. Ken's been lighting it up lately, so let's fire in and see how it goes. But first, quick message from CoolStuffInc.com, our sponsor. See you guys shortly.
This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com. To learn more about this deck, click the link in the video's description below to read Jim's article.
Alright, round number 1, a picturesque hand here. You love it. All 5 colors, a Growth Spiral on Teferi. This would be a candidate for Hand of the Week on my Twitter. We're going to keep. Also the ability to cast Growth Spiral on turn 2, very important. Only getting better. Only getting better. So, Scry says bottom. And the hits keep on coming. Alright, we can play a Gilded Goose if we draw it, so we're just going to main phase our Growth Spiral. I like the little animation on the passage. Overgrown Tomb. So we're going to put the Temple Guard in play it's apt. This tomb actually gives us the second black mana to hardcast Casualties of War, which is kind of cool, so... Okay, now our hand is pretty one-dimensional. We don't necessarily want to get our Teferi countered, because it is very important. However, we're not really doing anything else. I kind of think we should just wait a turn, though. I don't think there's really anything proactive a blue-white control deck can do on turn 3. I guess they could hard-cast Brazen Borrower. But aside from that, there's not much they can really do. Whereas on later turns they can, so I think we're just going to play land tapped here and say go. See what they do. Okay. Growth Spiral. Okay, we can use the passage for that. Alright, we're going to play Teferi, and it's probably going to get countered, but it's fine. We got to coke through the counter spells eventually anyway, so... Leave up a green. Yep. We can start firing off the old casualties here. So we've got a pretty good setup. We've got two of their cool lands. It's a matchup where Hydroid Krasis is very important. We have black, black, green, green, and one single blue, one single white. Because I have to get a blue to cast Throw Spiral, so that makes sense. Why not? Why not? Bombs away. So just landing creature. I imagine this probably isn't going to resolve. I think that the Vantress is more important. I don't think a 1/1 matters more than them actually drawing more counter spells. So having mana advantage in a control matchup is also pretty important. So all right, cool. And they wanted to make a token and not scry. Interesting. There's plenty where that came from, so. Castle Ardenville #2. I'm pretty sure we're just casting this. Same thing. Reinforcements have arrived. I wouldn't mind if there was 2 more copies of Krasis on the board. I have an idea. Wait. Oh, no, that's a good one. Let's just do it again. Like, them not countering these is kind of interesting. Like, maybe the first one was worth countering. This one. Alright, so now you can slip in Niv-Mizzet Reborn, and we should be in great shape.
I'll protect you.
Alright, so don't think there's much that counters this once we're playing Disdainful Stroke. Essence Capture? Alright. I mean, we've been gotten, I guess. Alright, I mean, I think ideally here they would play a creature and cast this Casualties of War. Sure. So this, them drawing 3, not good, but us killing everything is good. The 4th Casualties of War. I'd like to actually win, though. I mean, that's fun and all, but man, that was some essence capture, let me tell you. You've got a lot of lands. We've killed 4 of their lands so far. And they were all good lands. We killed 4 castles. Alright. Any big draw. Give me a Niv-Mizzet. Give me something. How about a Stomping Ground? That's pretty good. Yeah. Oh, that was a good one. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I guess I didn't need to shock there. Right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah. I shouldn't have shocked. It should have been great. These essence captures are something else. Jeez. They're like trying to be a Delver Secrets deck. And it's working. Seems like a kind of hard matchup, honestly. We just have big dumb spells and they have counter spells. don't think we have a way out of this one, realistically. Like, I'm not sure what we're really drawing to here. Sure. Alright, it's a tough first game there. While Casualties of War is nice, it's not really what we're looking for in this matchup. Stone Rain, kill a token for 6 mana is not ideal. Kenrith, 4 Ceratops. That certainly improves things. I like to cut the Gilded Geese, I think. Just going to get caught up in various Wrath of God effects. I think we're fine just playing lands naturally. Don't want Despark, don't want Deputy. Yeah, I think we're just going to cut 1 Fires of Invention. We don't really need Fires in a matchup like this. It's going to go long anyway. And it also might even want us to be in the point where we're playing multiple spells a turn. Maybe not casting Teferi on 3 was wrong. Once they get the Borrower in play, things change where they can sit back a little more on their counter spells. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because if it resolves, they Borrower in response, we just bounce it, and that Teferi's in play. I mean, Teferi is like the card that beats them by a lot. If there's a Teferi in play, obviously none of their counter spells work, and they're confined to playing on our terms. So maybe we should have just jammed it. It gets countered by a lot, but if we're going to play it on turn 5 anyway, or turn 4 anyway. We didn't know they had Borrower, but... Alright, let's try it again. Yeah, that's a mulligan. That's much better. Alright, let's keep this and ship Breeding Pool. I'm going to ship it. We only have 3 lands in our hand. It's not guaranteed ramp. Let's just draw an actual land, you know? So we could just slam Ceratops here. These decks board Giant Killer as a way to kill Ceratops, but we played Dovin's Veto, and we played Teferi. They could have Dovin's Veto. I actually like that. I could have played the Swamp, I guess. Whatever. They're very far off from casting a Wrath effect, so... You might want to attack and play Escape here. They might counter, but I think Teferi is more important. Sure. They had the veto for Teferi.
I know my responsibility. Oh, I've done the hero thing.
That's pretty good too. Okay, interesting. We don't want to get... I mean, Time Wipe's not the end of the world, I guess. Killing Teferi, though, is a pretty high cost. It's 5 damage. It's a lot of damage. When Paradise Druid could just attack it next turn. If they have Time Wipe, things get a little ugly, but...
Let's slow this down.
Pretty sure we attack them. Our own Teferi also means that the Teferi ability doesn't really matter that much, so... Having Krasis on backup is pretty nice, too, so...
Don't worry, I got this.
Okay, that's pretty annoying. I mean, just bounce it, honestly. Bounce it, attack Teferi, attack them, and present lethal. And then we draw a card anyway, and then we don't play Krasis because we want to play around Planar Cleansing. Obviously, bouncing this back to their hands is not ideal. They shoot 2 cards off of it, but we're trying to kill them. We're already behind on cards anyway, so... Good plays. It, like, kind of plays. I don't think we want it, though. We just want actual gas. So they have Planar Cleansing here. It's pretty annoying, but... yeah. Well, we can slam a Krasis. It's not that bad. So we made lethal Krasis here. Draw 2. Drawing Ceratops, obviously pretty good. Part of the allure putting them to 5 is just, you know, we draw Ceratops and kill them, but this is also lethal, so... So they have to have Opt or we're dead to tap my Krasis. We have Ceratops, so they just die. Good old protection. It's almost like sideboarding is a beneficial thing to do, you know? Yeah, I think we're pretty happy with this. I do wish I had more Hydroid Krasis, but... man, Gadwick is some card. It's definitely a real Magic card. Yeah, 3 players played this blue-white control deck at the Mythic Championship. Ben Stark, Ephro, and someone else I don't recall. I'm curious to see how they'll do. Ben more known for playing aggressive deck, so they must feel they know something everyone else doesn't. That's a hand of Magic cards. Yeah, it's fun. Blue source. Alright. I could see boarding 1 or 2 of these out if we had more things to bring in, but we kind of really don't. Like, if we had 2 extra Krasis over the 2 Casualties of War, I'd feel really good about this matchup, but... I mean, not really good, but I feel a lot better about it. Another Growth Spiral. So we gotta draw some lands here. Growth Spiral don't do much, no lands. That's also not a land. That is a land, though. So, Paradise Druid or Growth Spiral without a guaranteed land. Let's play the Temple first, see what we draw. Or see what's on top. Paradise Druid, that's gone. I mean, we're not really getting through this counter wall here. I guess we're just playing Paradise Druid. I want the guaranteed 5th mana. And then we'll just start playing Boom Booms, I guess. That's a Boom Boom. So we can just start Ceratopping just to pressure them so we can tap out for other things. That's probably a good idea. I don't like that they have like a time wipe here where you can't actually cast ever spells, but... we are going to feel dumb if they have the Giant Killer. So suppose Aether Gust is also annoying. And now if I attack and they have Teferi, it's kind of a disaster. Because I can't actually play any spells. I think I'd just say go. Castle Ardenvale does block Ceratops reasonably well. I guess it doesn't have his trample too, but I think we're trying again. It's not fair that their sideboard card trumps our sideboard card. I call shenanigans. This is fine. So they jump block, gain 5 life instead of scrying. We really got to draw land, unfortunately. Alright, we're going to send in the Ceratops and see what they do. And then we're probably going to cast Escape, I guess, over Kenrith. Yeah, definitely Escape over Kenrith. Just have them start countering stuff, I guess, so they can't keep scrying and making tokens. They're just casting Brazen Borrower, not bounding something. That's interesting. Alright. So Fairy Time Raveler is not bad. It's definitely not bad. It's definitely getting counter, but it's just like a free... It's a duress, so you can play Root Spot or something else too and attack. Alright. Just let it rip. Well, that's annoying, because now they can also do a castle activation. Just send Ceratops, they have a 1/1 from Ardenvale available. It's definitely not ideal. I mean, we are a little stuck on mana. Ugh. Time wipe. That's pretty good. We can cast spells now. Can't cast these. We're way off casting those, but... So they have Insight, Borrower, 2 cards. We'd like Camera, they just bounce it. I guess we're going to play a Paradise Druid. That doesn't really help us. Ah, the old Scrybug, eh? Alrighty. I think we are extremely dead this game. Essentially, I'm mulligan to 5. How about we tap this correctly? Yeah, I mean, just don't really got much going on. This matchup does seem exceedingly difficult. The 5 mana and 6 mana spell deck versus the 2 mana and 3 mana counter spell deck. Hopefully Ken can avoid this matchup. Don't think this even matters, so I guess if we draw a way to cast this, we can bounce a borrower and then kill a borrower and a land. Prison borrower number 3. I don't think we have any outs anymore.
That's more like it.
Alright, the old no black sources. Alright, so definitely a rough first matchup there. I mean, our poor 6-mana sorceries, no match for Dovin's Veto and friends. But that's okay. That's okay. There are only 3 blue-white control decks in the 67-player field, so let's try again. Definitely a matchup if you want to improve. You just add 2 more Krasis to the board. Or even put some more in the main deck maybe. But Hydroid Krasis is a pretty big card in those matchups. You get to draw the cards no matter what. Still board presence. It's a nice card advantage. Gadwick is good though. Gadwick is a card that scales very well. Yeah, this hand's great. Growth Spiral and friends. Knight of Ebon Legion. A little bit different than our last opponent. A little bit different. Tournament Grounds, Stormfist Crusader. Beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses 1 life. I'm kind of down with that. I like drawing cards. It's Teferi and or go to Fires and Teferi bounce this. And we're set up very well for future turns. Alright, so those are both going to grow. Jeez. Well, this is a pretty good hand. Guess we'll see what they take here. This is pretty bad, though. I would say 1 drop into Dark Confidant into Thoughtseize Dark Confidant, or Thoughtseize 1 drop is pretty bad for us. We took Teferi. So this is Menace also. We can play Fires and then play nothing. But then we get to play Escape the Wilds and kind of hopefully go nuts. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're taking a major hit this turn. Like, serious, for real hit. But let's see what we can do. We're not playing Krasis for 0. That'd be silly. Alright, good turn 4, I guess. I think we're probably dead. I mean, Daddy's home, but I don't think it matters. Yeah, I mean, we're 4. I guess it's actually not the end of the world. We get to Teferi, bounce this knight that has the Embercleave on it, and then block the other knight, and then we're going to be at 1 life, but we can cast Krasis and Casualties of War. But I played the Passage, so we can't actually play Krasis for 4. As I was concerned I'd have to actually play the Krasis this turn, that's why I played the Passage. I might have been wrong. I guess we'll see. We can also just draw an untap land, so...
Trust me. You'll thank me later.
Teferi bounces that, and then... you drew an untap land. Alright. Go to 3. And... I guess they could have equipped the Stormfist. We just put ourselves dead on board, but they didn't see it, so... They could have equipped the Stormfist Crusader and just killed us, because we can't block it, but... No skin off my back. Sure. This didn't matter either way. Alright, I mean, kind of a tough game. They had a really, really good draw. Playing 3 creatures into Thoughtseize by turn 3 is pretty good. So, what do we want here? We definitely want Tolsimir. We want some number of casualties, but not all of them, probably. Then we can shave and escape the wilds, too. Despark's really awkward because it hits Embercleave, but nothing else, really. Deputy's also not super cool. I'm pretty down with Kenrith because gaining 5 life is pretty awesome, and it's not super easy to kill. I remember trying something like this. Wouldn't mind like Time Wipe or something like that as a card. Teferi's also good against Embercleave too. It stops it from being a thing. So that's kind of nice, but... Alright, let's try this. I mean, it's got Growth Spiral. It plays. We're keeping. Don't love shocking for it, but... Nothing? It's not bad either. Do really like this card a lot. Growth Spiral and this card. I just love drawing cards and playing lands. These cards are both very good at that, so... Alright, let's cast Growth Spiral and hope we draw a land. We did not. Alright, so we are dead. We can draw an untapped land next turn and we're probably dead. Black Lance Paragon. This is literally just Ken Yukihiro's deck from the previous Mythic Championship. Like, perhaps card for card. They have Rotting Regisaur too. Ugh. God. Yeah, fast curve and Thoughtseize. Not ideal. Not ideal. They're gonna take... They take the Niv-Mizzet? Wow. Image of a land? Double wow. I'm pretty sure we're escaping here. So we can cast the Casualties next turn. So we can shock and play Goose. We also have the Niv-Mizzet. So it goes a 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I mean, Kenrith is pretty good. Black. I'm not sure if this is right or not, but... Alright, I mean, there goes that, but I think we're pretty happy with Kenrith. We just shock to gain 5 life too, which is kind of cool. We could Niv-Mizzet as well. Niv-Mizzet, we have Kenrith in our hand already. So maybe we just Niv-Mizzet and shock and gain life with a food. Certainly somewhat precarious shape here. I suppose we can just maybe just Kenrith, because then if they kill the Kenrith, we have another Kenrith, then we get to gain, I guess, 3 life off of it. So we go to 4, we go to 7, we go back to 2, but we have a lot of mana in play too. So can they kill Kenrith? I mean, so they probably... Black Lance is only knights, right? Yeah, target knight. We could block Gutterbones. Yeah, we're gonna block Gutterbones. I don't see a card that kills Kenrith from blocking Gutterbones, but there are a lot of cards with Black Lance Paragon. They can shock it with Stomp. They can use another Paragon. Sure. Now I think we're golden. Now we can gain a bunch of life. Play Teferi.
Sorry I'm late.
Bounce the Stormfist Crusader. Pretty sure.
I have a plan.
That's a land. And we can gain life and make a food. I'm gonna gain a life right now, just in case they have something, I don't know. And do I even want to block? I guess we have Teferi in play now, so any block is pretty safe. I'm not gonna attack. We're just gonna say go. Say go, make a food. We have plenty of gas in our hand. We're gonna block with Kenrith. If they have a trick, it's fine. They can't have a trick, but they can have a stomp post combat. Might have a Black Lance Paragon and not realize the Teferi was in play. I could have Growth Spiral to making a food, but I think making a food seems better. Alright, the game's over. Yeah. Untap him with Kenrith and a bunch of lands. Usually we'll do it. Kenrith's pretty powerful. Alright, cool. So we've got our way out of that one. That's nice. Yeah, run that back. Mostly happy. Mostly happy. Definitely somewhat of an impetus on us to have a good hand, but I think Growth Spiral is very important. A lot of Duresses, though. Duresses and Drill Bits. Drill Bits basically Thoughtseize in their deck. Yeah, we can keep this. Have a little faith in our Scrylands. You have a Goose, Growth Spiral. So we get to Growth Spiral and then maybe Goose as well. And Drill Bit. Taking the Growth Spiral. Alright. I mean, we got a Goose. Passage is great. If our Goose lives, we can Teferi next turn, but it may not. Blocking is a little tempting. It means they literally can't do anything but pump, and we take no damage. And we just play another Goose next turn, and then we have Fires Teferi the following turn. I block. I think they might just do nothing here, but this is fine. I'll take that as their turn pretty happily. And then we Goose. And we're in no rush to pop this thing. It doesn't matter anyway. So let's Apps go. We can fetch a mountain. Play Teferi. A Thought Seize this turn would suck. I'm going to block again, actually. If they tap all their lands to pump this again, I'm pretty happy. And they can't drill bit me. They can hardcast drill bit, but sure. Also fun. Alright, so Passage. Once the Fires is in play, they can't remove it, so feels pretty good. Fires, Teferi, bouncing.
Show remorse.
Probably Black Lands just cost 2.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Yeah, so worst case here would be a drill bit taking our Niv-Mizzet, because we have, well, no other spells. But that would require tapping a lot of lands to do, so there's Reggie. Alright. We're going to play Breeding Pool because we want to save our Scries post-Reborn, because otherwise it undoes the Scry. Alright, buddy, let's go. Teferi and Casualties of War. That ain't bad. So, Teferi.
Stand by and watch.
I mean, Niv-Mizzet trades with Reggie pretty well. You have a kill spell, it's a lot of damage though. Yeah, let's bounce Reggie. Okay. He's a spell, but this is fine. I don't think Teferi really matters. It could block. I mean, I guess blocking trades their entire turn, and it kills their knight, and it keeps Teferi alive. That's actually fine. Maybe we just block. I don't think we're racing. We have Casualties next turn. I'm going to block. 2 Scries, too. I'm going to block. Yep. Paradise Druid. Alright, let's throw in a Scryland. Overgrown Tomb? Nope. I'm just gonna hold this. Let's play this and say go. We can start cracking food. I gotta crack the food end step, I just didn't really think about it. We're at pretty high lab totals, so. Gutter Ball. I probably just... Actually, we're not gonna use our mana anyways. This is fun. Alright. Would certainly prefer to... God damn. To kill the Reggie with the...
Here goes nothing.
Casualties of War, but... They're stuck on lands. Let's see what our top card is. Damn. Well, that settles that. We're going to destroy a land and a creature. And we're going to kill Black Lance and Castle Lockthwain. And now we have Teferi online too, so that's pretty nice. We can draw another card. Just looking for a big spell to cast, really. Krasis or another Niv-Mizzet. Obviously, we're pretty happy to play this next turn, but okay. I think we just Teferi first. See what our top card is.
I've got time.
Damn. Alright, we'll just say go. I mean, obviously, we want to cast this for some value. Yep. I suppose Plague Spores is fine. Let's see. 6 mana common. Destroy a land, destroy a creature. It's not the prettiest sight, but plays. And we're gonna keep playing our land because we're trying to draw a Hydroid Krasis, which we're gonna hard cast. If they draw out on us before we draw a good spell, I'll be very sad. They have a long way to go before killing us. If we draw 5 lands in a row and they draw land, 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 and cast all our spells, I think we could definitely lose this game in some strange parallel universe, but... Alright, so they have... we're just gonna crack one of these. Temple, alright. Shouldn't have said anything. They had no plays? That seems weird. That'd be a red man, I guess. Alright, there's Reggie. We have the 3 life a turn engine going. It's pretty good, so... How about we draw a spell? How about a Paradise Druid? How about it? There's no secrets anymore. Alright, well, now Reggie will get to work on their hand. There's always that, I guess. Discarded a Fervent Champion, sure. Reggie number 2. There she is. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's just 10 is fine. That's 1, 2. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's for 8, I guess. Don't want to cast it for 0. That would have been a pretty bad misclick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it is 10. Boom. I'm not going to say we bricked, but we kind of bricked.
This isn't a fight you can win.
Thoughts on bounce? There's actually a kind of interesting choice there. We might have actually bounced our own Krasis back to our hand to try again next turn, but they conceded, so we won. It didn't matter. 1-1. That felt a little better. Master Splicer. That card's legal. Wow. Bake into a pie. Oh man. Our opponent's really good at top decking. That's not good for us. Plays. I think most hands with Growth Spiral that's castable are pretty playable, so. The goose is loose. Once again, we can draw our own goose. We cast main phase. Alright, no white currently for Teferi. Kinda lame. But... Trail of Crumbs. It's a Jund Sacrifice deck. Sure. Definitely a matchup where Casualties of War is going to be very, very good. Might get the vaunted kill everything mode of Casualties. Wouldn't be sad. And there's your white. Okay. We can cast Niv-Mizzet. Is that better than Escape the Wilds? Probably. Niv-Mizzet also just attacks. And we're pretty close to playing Casualties of War. Not super close, but... I mean, bouncing Gilded Goose isn't crazy, because it's the most efficient way to use Trail of Crumbs. They're drawing a lot of cards. But, yeah, I think we're just going to play Niv-Mizzet. Alright. Let's see what he says. Krasis or Growth Spiral? Probably just Krasis. So any black source allows us to cast Casualties, but realistically we don't have that many black sources in our deck. So just like finding a black source is going to be kind of difficult. Next turn is probably Krasis for 4 or Escape the Wilds. If we could escape into Teferi, I'd be more interested in that, but we can't yet, so... Oh boy. Well. Alright. This Mayhem Devil is going to cause some pretty serious mayhem over the next few turns, but sure. Don't think just bouncing Devil is reasonable, so... Fires is good. Fires is definitely good. So you sack a food, draw 2, and ping for 1. Second Goose. Alright, well... got a ways to go here. Then I have multiple pieces to each part. Cute. Cute. Adorable. You do have lethal in the air, so they have blockers, obviously, but we're in the old, ooh, well, that is interesting. Massacre Girl. Don't think I really mind if everything in play dies, because we have so much more gas in our hand. And Gilded Goose is already a problem. They have multiple Gilded Geese in their hand at this point, but... wouldn't even kill Niv-Mizzet at this point. Kill Druid, then Goose, then Devil, then Krasis, but it wouldn't. It's only only 4 things dying, plus the initial -1/-1, so they're really the tank here. Goose number 2. And Witch's Oven. They know we have this, but they don't know we have Fires, so we're about to do some work. Oh, never mind. They have 2 of everything. 2s are wild. Deuce is wild. I mean, they might just be dead. I guess they can play a second Goose. Alright, sure. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. Alright, so We're going to fire his casualty, but there's no reason to do it yet. We should just attack and see what they do. And then we'll go from there. Alright, so play fires. Play casualties. Almost everything. Almost. Kill an oven. Kill a devil. Kill a trail of crumbs. And kill Stomping Ground. Really, honestly, not as effective as we would like it to be, because they still have a trail of crumbs and an oven in play. But with our big flyers ready to go here, we're still in pretty good shape. I mean, they gotta beat the flyers. We've constrained their mana a bit too. Massacre Girl is sort of passable, but even if it kills everything, we don't really care that much. We also have Kenrith next turn for haste and stuff, so it's very, you know, we could easily just play Krasis and Kenrith next turn and swing for a whole bunch out of nowhere. I think we're in good shape here. Flyers go pretty well over the top here. They might attempt a Massacre Girl. Yeah. I don't know why they shocked. They didn't need to shock. This madness is pretty good for us. We have flyers. We have and we have 4 Casualties of War, so they get a Blood Crypt, they probably cast Massacre Girl, they get to sack it, make some food, it's all fine. What did they sacrifice? I think they were supposed to sacrifice the Massacre Girl, right? They have enough to kill everything? Oh, they did. Okay. Alright, and we just cast Niv-Mizzet. Only one, wow. That's a rarity. Yes, Kenrith, and you did. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. Not too shabby. Alright, what do we want here? I mean, Deputy seems pretty easy to kill. Tolsimir, I mean, it seems fine. There's plenty of things to kill, but I just don't know if it's better than the cards we already have. Teferi seems medium. I like Teferi as a cog. You know, just kind of like play it, draw a card, bounce things, buy some time. I certainly like it for that effect, but it does seem pretty easy to kill. An Escape to the Wilds. I mean, they're probably going to bring in, like, Duresses and stuff, or some sort of discard spells, so maybe we just want more gas. Kenrith is really good, too, but let's got, like... Let's bring in 2 Tolsimirs. Let me kind of Escape the Wilds. I'll leave these in. Let's just try this. Just shape 2 Teferis. I don't want Despark. I don't think you want Deputy. Maybe we do. I'm not actually sure, honestly. They just like have plenty of ways to kill things. It just doesn't seem great. I just don't like having Deputy build me a house of cards that gets fallen down pretty easily. Felled, if you will. Yeah, sure. Looks great to me. Third Paradise Druid was exciting, but... Honk. You get the cat here, too. Just got everything. No? Wow. Alright, so we did draw a land. I think I'm pretty fine just playing Paradise Druid. Like, play Growth Spiral. If we draw a Goose, we can play it, but we only have 2 lands right now. Just put it in Druid. Well, that was slightly unexpected. Turn 3 Questing Beast on the play. Alright. Hydroid Krasis. Alright, we're gonna main phase Growth Spiral, I think. We could, I mean, we're gonna cast the Niv-Mizzet next turn. It's pretty good. Probably. I don't know what would punish us for that. I mean, like a Scourge Devil or something. If we go Spiral into Paradise Druid, that feels pretty safe. Hello. Alright, we'll see what next turn is in store for us. Sure. Probably just playing Fires Niv-Mizzet. Don't really want to get cheesed out with Questing Beast and maybe like Scourge Devil, but oven number 2 is fine. That's fine. I can't play Niv-Mizzet because we did not draw a land. Aha! Alright. Hydroid Krasis it is. It's big enough to block this. They have, like, something to steal it or whatever. It was just whatever. We gain 4 life. We gain 2 life, too, so... Making a land drop here is pretty paramount, so... We did not make a land drop. We have drawn as many Paradise Druids as lands. That's bad. That's bad. So, we can draw a land next turn, or we're probably dead. Draw a land and have at least 1 Paradise Druid live. It's not too much to ask, but it's a decent amount to ask. You know, Questing Beast, you know. Block. One of the easier blocks in my entire Magic career. Wow. That is interesting. They value 2 food over killing my Krasis. Okay. I mean, if they want to go into a longer game with me, like, they obviously... Oh, that's a card. Corvold, Fey Curse King. 4/4 flying. As a player attacks, sacrifice permanent. We sack a permanent, put a counter on it, draw a card. Alright. Well, I guess I could also cast Casualties also, can I? I could have cast this last turn. Oh, I'm sorry, I drew it off the thing. So we can just cast Casualties. You kill Corvold, Oven, Trail, Land. That's pretty good. I think killing this thing right now is pretty important. You draw fires anyway, so yeah, screw it. Land, enchantment, creature, artifact. That artifact. That creature. And that land. Not too shabby. And attack. I mean, they're at 12 now. 12 is not a lot. It's funny because killing their lands is actually so important too, because realistically, they're pretty mana hungry. But with no trail crumbs now, their engine's kind of offline too. So let's just draw land. That's what we're looking for here. I mean, you can't just hard cast Niv-Mizzet. Oh, well, not fire, so less exciting. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna hard cast Niv-Mizzet. Cinderball. Alright, yeah. I would say that fires is now off the menu. Opponent wants fires dead. They can have fires dead. We did draw a land. But, we can just cast Niv-Mizzet and cast a Paradise Druid. And then set up for Kenrith haste next turn, probably. You also can set up for fires into a. I guess we could just cast Casualties of War. What we got? Spin the wheel. Teferi, Growth Spiral, and Tolsimir. All pretty nice. Send the flyer in. Cast the Paradise Druid. Looking pretty good here. Could cast Growth Spiral also, but I think just playing another 2/2/1 is actually fine. They're also just like starting to die, and they're only at 8, so poor Fires of Invention, you know. Cindervines, Gilded Goose. Tolsimir ain't bad either. Like, killing their geese is pretty important. It's a huge part of their engine. Back online. Will it matter? I don't think so. You got it. Think you're dead. Look pretty dead to me. Kenrith. It's not your right to deny the return of the king, steward. 2-1. This deck is sweet. This deck is just something else. Ken Yukihiro's my hero. Hopefully Ken does well at this Mythic Championship. It'd be pretty exciting. A lot of power in this deck. A lot of powerful cards, too. Like, it looks hokey, you know, as you're playing Niv-Mizzet, but realistically, like, most of the decks in a tournament fall under one of the categories of, almost all of them, honestly, of either a Hydroid Krasis deck, or a Teferi deck, or a Fires deck, or a Casualties of War deck. And this deck's just doing all of that. So, Platinum player. They're pairing us up here. Yeah, this hand's good. It's a little awkward, but like we can turn one Goose and then possibly not do anything on turn 2. But, ooh, Venerable Knight. Oh, now we can. So, let's do this. So we can Teferi on 2. It's not ideal, but it certainly buys us time. Also pause and Krasis on 3. Oh, never mind. We're bouncing that. For sure. Oh, wait. We can't Teferi because our lands don't line up. Okay. I guess we're not doing that. And we are instead doing nothing. I mean, there was no way to play Teferi given the lands we had. Alright. Might succumb here to this aggro deck on their pretty aggro draw. Given our lands are a little awkward. Definitely an occupational hazard of putting the card Niv-Mizzet Reborn in your deck. Alright. I mean, obviously this card's good, but it's not super fast. Much more scary if they went like 1-drop, 1-drop, 1-drop. Circle of Loyalty. Okay. So what's next turn? I mean, Teferi... We can Teferi. I mean, Krasis on 2 isn't even that good. At least as a 3-3, it can actually block some things. Though once this circle comes down, I guess you can't block much anymore. As a 3-3, it's going to be a 4-4 at that point. We're not really currently building towards anything. We've drawn a few lands here, so... What are they thinking about? Send in the clowns. Definitely could see... Excuse me, sorry. Definitely could see some sort of sweeper in this deck or something. Like, we do see maybe fall behind a little bit against aggressive decks. Like, they just have a 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop draw on the play. And our hand is medium to medium minus. I don't know what's happening. Looks like they're not attacking. Okay. Maybe they have to go to the bathroom. Yeah, I guess we're just like Teferi here. Just bounce the Worthy Knight. Slow him down a little bit. Draw a card. Scry. Our Passage's coming on tap now. We're definitely losing our food, which kind of sucks, but...
I'm known for my excellent fight. Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Alright, that's another land. That's another Hydroid Krasis. I mean, like, that's the way to bottom this. It sucks to bottom a spell, but we just need something that's not Hydroid Krasis. We already have one of those. We need to draw Niv-Mizzet or Fires, or... I mean, Fires doesn't even help, and not much going on, but... It would be important... it would be unfortunate if our opponent disconnected. Because it seems like they aren't there anymore. But while we're waiting for them, I can remind y'all that you should hop on over to CoolStuffInc.com if you're watching on YouTube. There's a companion article to this video on CoolStuffInc.com proper. A lot of great sales going on for the holidays right now. You can use my promo code JIM5 for 5% off your order on anything. Magic cards, supplies, board games, miniatures, it's all on there. Really, if you're shopping for Christmas for any of your friends who are gaming-oriented, CoolStuffInc.com has it. Best service in the biz, best prices. Check it out, CoolStuffInc.com. And if you're looking for a board game suggestion, check this game out real fast. Gotta put some extra content in because my opponent didn't show up. This game's called Dixit, and it's one of the funnest games I've ever owned. It is... in some ways similar to like Apples to Apples, just much more artsy and creative. Basically each player, you just have a bunch of cards with pictures on them, and you need to sort of get the other players to know what it is without getting to know what it is. It's just a very clever game. It's very simple. You learn it in like 5 or 6 minutes. The complexity of the game is based on the social dynamics, the people you know, and the words and things you choose to say, not the rules of the game. And it's super deep because of that. So go buy Dixit on CoolStuffInc.com. Promo code JIM5. Alright, 3-1. We're kind of like 2.5-1, I guess, but, you know, it's fine. We'll see how long this next match goes. If it's pretty quick, we'll play one extra match at the end to make up for that. We're already an hour and 20 minutes in, so we'll see how this match goes. I'm booking it, though. 3-1. On the books. Taco. I'm sorry, this deck is just way too good for hands of the week. I can't even control it. Check my Twitter, hand of the week. It's just good stuff. You just can't help it. We're gonna keep. I mean, I guess we don't have a green. Or we're on the draw. I don't even know. Oh man. I mean, I guess we don't even have all of our colors yet. Like green's our most important color. If we draw like Paradise Druid, we can't cast it. I guess we got a mulligan. This hand's pretty funny though. Alright, we're gonna mulligan. Alright, this hand's better. Fine. We're gonna keep. I think we dump Kenrith. I think I would like to just keep my lands. I have all my colors right now. We have Goose into Teferi. So that buys us time. We draw cards. Our deck's full of good cards anyway. So I think Kenrith is a little clunky for our opening hand. I'd rather just draw it later. Our opponents don't want to play with us. Hello. That's a card. Goose also provides a mana sink for when you have fires in play. We didn't really mention that earlier, but tap 4, gain 3 is not bad. This is interesting. Alright. I mean, we're going to play Teferi, and I'm pretty sure we're going to plus it. I know there's like an Is It flash deck floating around.
Stand by and watch.
They can like shock my Teferi or something like that. That's going to be bad, so I think having Teferi around just to turn off their counter spells seems pretty nice. I'm not exactly sure if that's what they're playing, but I honestly haven't even seen the deck lists. Full disclosure, I've played so little Standard over the last few months. Just so little Standard. They cut Standard from the Invitational. Arena's been kind of slow anyway. The formats have been bad. I just haven't played Standard at all in months. So I have to relearn the format a little bit. Thankfully, the metagame for the Mythic Championship is actually pretty good. Realistically, like, it just looks good. There's just a wide variety of decks. No deck is more than 17% of the field. Alright, so we bounce the Brazen Borrower. They can just stomp my Teferi, but they'll attack it otherwise, so...
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Alright, I mean... I'm not thrilled with what's happening right now, but... we are going to need to draw a spell or two. Unfortunately, Counterspell is really good against us. As we saw in the blue-white control matchup, where if they, that works too. If they have, 2 mana counterspells for my 6 mana spells, like, we just ain't doing much. But, I guess we're all dressed up and know where to go. Just gonna bounce it, but whatever. I think we're in big trouble. Realistically, we've drawn 4 spells, 2 of them are mana creatures. Yeah, I mean, not too good. Getting stomped. Sure. I mean, they're running out of cards, I suppose. Kind of. Not really. Gabbic the Wise is pretty freaking good. They are no longer running out of cards, and we are only drawing lands. So this game is over. Thanks for playing, I guess. Whatever. Just trying to like F6 the turn, but yeah, not a really not a great game for us. We're already at 14 off of our lands. That's tough. That's tough. Oh, right. I was wondering why our Teferi was in exile, but I forgot it was killed with Scorching Dragonfire. They wish to kill my goose. My goose is cooked. I mean, Teferi is certainly not great against Gadwick, but... Alright, here's Teferi. This matchup also seems really, really bad. Yeah, I mean... We just got nothing. Not a thing. So they have 3 cards in hand, and then they have 3 adventure creatures just floating around. Talk about not panning out. I mean, they play Borrower, they Cutthroat too. Alright, we're just gonna go to the next game here. We drew basically 2 or 3 spells that game. You know, not including mana creatures. Yeah, I kind of want more Hydroid Krasis. Come on, Arena, you can do it. Alright, so... Flash. Bonecrusher Giant lines up pretty well against Ceratops. We're going to bring them in, but I would say that Casualties of War is not great. I would say that Gilded Goose... I mean, tempo is pretty important, honestly, because they're not... Against Blue-Eye Control, they're not a tempo deck. They're a slow deck with Wraths, so we don't mind slowing down, but... this deck is a tempo deck. You probably want to cut all of these. And then... I mean, Tolsimir doesn't actually kill much effectively. It's a 3-1, a 4-2. Gadwick's a 3-3. I did have Kenrith. Once it's in play, they can't really deal with it. Trying to debate how much I want Fires. We can also like cut a black land now that there's no more Casualties of War in our deck anymore. It's like a little greedy, but it's also a green source. I don't know if we can cut Fires. I'm going to be a little greedy here. This matchup doesn't seem very good for us. Let's just, like, try and get him. Plays. Ace in the hole. Niv-Mizzet Reborn. I mean, what's better than one ace, right? Pocket aces? Oh boy. I think we gotta ship this. These are one-shot mana effects also, so not super thrilled about them. Yeah, I guess we want that. Blast Zone. Alright. I mean, we can, like, Growth Spiral into two passages here. Then we can cast Paradise Druid, but we have to fetch a green land, which kind of sucks. Let's just cast this first, see what happens. It's not bad. Let's get Plains Island, cast Paradise Druid. We're pretty far from guessing Niv-Mizzet, but with this Paradise Druid, we're not. Oh, not Plains Island, Plains Forest. That's what I meant. Same thing. Sure. Arr. There would be pirates here. I mean, unless they have like Disdainful Stroke, we might be able to mize in this Niv-Mizzet. This is so tempting, but we just can't block, we just can't cast anything. I mean, if we block and then play Teferi, they like have to have the card negate. I guess they could also have Mystical Dispute. Yeah. I mean, Dispute also counters Niv-Mizzet. That sucks. That every hoster card's getting against Niv-Mizzet. Ooh. The King's actually really good here. The King doesn't get hit by much. I suppose it gets bounced by Brazen Bar, which would suck. But maybe just Teferi and then play Goose. Assuming that Teferi gets hit with Mystical Dispute or Negate. Yeah, I think Kenrith is too bad against Brazen Borrower. Just let it rip. This land's stuck playing tapped. It's fine. And then I don't think we can attack because we can't open ourselves up to Stomp, so this seems impossible. These counterspell matchups just seem awful for this deck. We just can't do anything. They just have 2-mana counterspells for our 5-mana spells, you know? It's just Teferi or bust. And then this deck has a clock, too. Like, ugh. It's just gross. I guess I just attack. They main phase Stomp. Maybe it opens up the window for me to cast Niv-Mizzet. Yeah, they have Essence Capture. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is just never resolving. What do you want from me? Ooh, ooh, ooh. So you're telling me there's a chance? Are you telling me there's a chance right now? Don't get my hopes up, Taco. Oh, glorious day. Oh, Oh, glorious blue dragon tongue. You casting Growth Spiral? I don't think so. Let's just say go. You're up, I guess. Alright. I mean, there's also a 6/6 in play now, too, so that part's pretty nice. Alright, well, now they also have a 6/5, but I think I would still trade, like... Bottom, it's good, it's good. Alright, complicates things a little bit, that's fine. What are they doing here? They decided they want to attack or not yet? They're not attacking? Wow. Alright. That's a boomer. What do they do about this bad boy? It just blocks their doofers. I kind of like it. Niv-Mizzet is a 3-turn clock right now. Whoa, doggy. And no spell, so they can't really profitably attack. Now they have to hardcast a giant, so they can actually deal with the Ceratops, otherwise they're just like practically dead. And we have Teferi Time Raveler rolled up, so that would require a negate or something to deal with that. We draw a land, and Kenny is on the table, possibly. Sure. Sure. So they have to have a counterspell, or they die. Which I am okay with, honestly. Just make him have it. Sure. Just send in the clowns. And we just say go. Definitely a very awkward game. I mean, we'd love to have drawn some lands at some point. It's probably turn 8 or something like that. We still have 4 lands in play. And without... the Gilded Goose is at its worst in these middle turns. When you only have like 4 or 5 lands out. Don't really have the extra land to afford to make a food. But you kind of need mana also. So they kind of just sit there and do nothing. Goose is much better on turn... Goose is a card that's good on turn 1 and on turn 8. It's the middle turns where it's not great. Also, you're using the food for other things, obviously. You know, if you're making a food into an elk token or setting up your Wicked Wolf, things like that. Gadwick the Wizened X equals 2. So they are probably trying to draw a Brazen Borrower. I think playing Teferi was wrong last turn. We just didn't need to do that. They just obviously had a counterspell. We could have just waited. That's a land. Do we Growth Spiral here? We lose our food. That hurts our ability to cast spells, I think. Alright, we can actually play Escape into the Wilds now and probably do some stuff. They have to have Brazen Borrower or they're dead, so that part doesn't really matter. So I guess this. Oh, I guess I can tap. I'm so stupid. I totally forgot they can tap things. That completely changes everything. Okay. I made a boo-boo. I guess they have opt then. That was really bad playing a spell before they can counter stuff. So they have borrower. They have nothing. Oh. Okay. That was really, really bad of me to play that spell beforehand, though. That was not very smart. Because if they have only their only blue card's a counterspell, they just tap my creature. That was very, very stupid. Very, very bad play. But never punished. Never punished. Ceratops obviously changes things. What are you doing, Zibby? Our hamster Zibby has been going on adventures lately. He tried to escape this morning. He was climbing the water bottle and he's yeah, I see you. Yeah, I know. He's quite the little adventure monger. You can see him on my stream. There's Zibanejad. His full name is Zibanejad. He's named after Mika Zibanejad, the center on the New York Rangers. The naming convention for my pets the last few years has been a hockey player's last name who's on my fantasy hockey team. We had Giroux, the gerbil, named after Claude Giroux. We had Burnsy, the gerbil, named after Brent Burns of the San Jose Sharks. And now we have Zibby, Zibanejad. This hand's not very good. I mean, we can't keep this hand. If they kill my goose, like, we just have nothing. And the goose is not a reliable mana source anyway, so we're gonna mulligan. Oh my god. Why are you like this? Alright. It's like the first hand, but minus 2 cards. Alright. Like, I don't even think it's worth it to play the bird on turn 1. Just the same hand we had before, minus 2 cards. We are 1000% drawing Gilded Goose next turn. I would bet many, many, many things on it. Crushed it. Niv-Mizzet Reborn. Alright, I mean, at least we're working towards something now. Honk. If they have any reasonable draw, I don't see how we can ever beat them. Like, look at our hand. It's just a 4 mana spell and a 5 mana spell. And they just have a bunch of 2 mana counter spells. I mean, like, we can cast Fires here and get it ionized. That's probably what we're going to do, honestly. I guess we could just do... I mean, we do nothing. They just cast a Brazen Borrower or something. Alright. I mean, it's basically just us saying we hope to draw a good card next turn. That won't get countered, but... No. This deck definitely does not have a good plan for counter spells. Alright, I mean... Trying again. Rats. Mystical Dispute is filthy against Niv-Mizzet Reborn. Filthy. One of the cool things about Niv-Mizzet Reborn is it's good against Dovin's Veto and Negate and things like that, but not Mystical Dispute. Not Mystical Dispute. That's about as good as they get, I guess. Top bottom. I mean, obviously a lava coil or anything like that fells us here, but this is certainly, this game went from, you know, being a 5%er to about a 20%er with that draw step. It's also not bad. I think we're gonna wait a turn and just like make a food and get some more mana going. I'd rather draw 2 than draw 1. So, and with Ceratops in play, we're not really in any major rush because the fort's currently held at the moment. Yeah, bring it on. The more the merrier, I think. Every cutthroat is not a counterspell, so. And Ceratops eats most of them. We're dead. Okay. Well, if their last card is not a counterspell, I would say there's a chance. No, we're not blocking. We'll go to 2, and then we will gain some life and go back to 4, and pray. So the question is making it a 5/5 worth it? But we lose the ability to cast Niv-Mizzet next turn. We could also just cast. No, I can't cast Niv. We gotta cast the Krasis. I think it just should make it a 4/4. Also leaves the Goose back to block if necessary. Okay. We are not dead yet. We are very, very, very close to dead, but we are not dead yet. Well, that means we can chump block and still cast Niv-Mizzet next turn. Oh my god, what a draw. And they only drew 1 card. That is so sketchy. Did they... They must have already had that, because there's no way they'd make that play if they don't have that already. And Gablik the Wise is just really good. Alright. I mean, we did mulligan to 5 this game. We were sort of in it. That's kind of cool, I guess. So yeah, I mean, we beat everything that didn't have counterspells in it, and we lost 2 of 2 counterspell decks, which I guess makes sense, because we're playing a deck that's just literally full of 5 and 6 mana spells. I would say the deck seems super sweet. I believe there are more flash decks than were anticipated at the Mythic Championship. Both Simic and Izzet, as well as the couple blue-white control decks. Those all scare me a lot. I think that probably want the other 2 Krasis somewhere if control is going to be that much of an issue. And then, I mean, there aren't really a lot of good options for anti-blue cards. Ceratops being the best, of course. Obviously, Veil of Summer is banned. And Fry doesn't really do anything either. But Krasis would certainly help. We obviously drew pretty bad some of those games, so we have mulligan to 5 a number of times. But some sort of like spot removal. The Deputy of Detention seemed really bad to me. I don't really understand that. We still have creatures in our deck. It's not like we're boarding in Deputy and they're like not going to have any removal. So I really don't like that card that much. The 4 Despark is also pretty wild. Seems good against Gruul, I suppose. Hits Embercleave, hits Questing Beast, things like that. Sideboard, it's very, like, rigid. It's 4/4/4, so I'm sure Ken has plans for all of his matchups. I just don't know what those plans are exactly. But I would say that counterspell decks are certainly problematic. It feels like mostly Teferi or bust with a little Hydroid Krasis on the side. But I don't know. Honestly, this deck seems super sweet. I mean, it's hard to have more fun than this deck. And the deck also seems very competitive, too. So we'll see if Ken is a genius or a madman. Obviously, you know already. I'm in the past. You're in the future. Hopefully, you have flying cars and cool things like that. But, yeah, I mean, this deck was really, really fun. So, need to plan for counterspells. Otherwise, it seems awesome. So, from the charter captain of the Ken Yukihiro fan club, I'm Jim Davis. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it very much. Here on CoolStuffInc.com. Again, there is a companion article to this video on CoolStuffInc.com. Check that one out. I do a video Monday, an article Friday. Last Friday's article was all about the bans in Pioneer. I've been playing tons of Pioneer lately. And the bans of Smuggler's Copter, Field of the Dead, and Once Upon a Time is probably the biggest shakeup the format will ever see in its history. It's a huge one. So I go over that, and as well as the cards I think are likely to be banned next. That's on CoolStuffInc.com as well. That's my Friday article. And yeah, I'll see you fine folks this Friday for my next article, and of course on Monday for my next video. CoolStuffInc.com. We also have a bunch of great new writers too. MTG Nerd Girl is joining the staff, as well as a few others who I believe aren't announced yet, so I probably shouldn't say anything about them. But CoolStuffInc.com, always free content. No premiums here. Come for free. Check out our great stable of writers, CoolStuffInc.com. I'll see you folks next time. I am Jim Davis for CSI. See you soon.